All right, ladies and gentlemen, how is everyone this fine Friday evening? I am your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron VR. I hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. Again, obviously reflecting on what truly matters about that holiday, but also enjoying some opportunities just to relax, unwind, and recharge the good old batteries. But yeah, definitely a productive type of week. I've been lurking in so many live streams, working on the layout here, which we'll go ahead and we'll be talking about probably in about a few minutes, probably 10-15 minutes. But there's a couple of things that, I've been watching some live streams, and there's actually a few things I want to kind of contribute to some of the great topics of conversation. But let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Again, welcome all the lurkers out there, all the supporters. And again, I want to thank you guys so much for the 1,060 subscribers. You guys are killing it, and I cannot begin to thank you enough as we get closer and closer to 1,100, and then obviously the next goal of being 1,500 subscribers. So you guys are awesome. You guys are killing it. And, we press on forward with model railroading and get new enthusiasts into our lovely small sphere of the YouTube here. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. So let's talk about a few things. So, like I said, I've been super busy this week, and the main thing I've been working on lately is this layout. This layout's been taking a lot of my time because, as you'll see momentarily, the third rail is pretty much installed, which you'll see on the cameras, and I've been working a lot on this modular behind me, which we'll go ahead and dive into as well. But a few things to kind of talk about in the model railroading world. You guys have been seeing that I have been passionate about a recent release or a pre-release that kind of was announced from good old Broadway Limited, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit more. That's what we're going to be running here today. That is the BLI Atlantic, which we'll get running here shortly. But let's go ahead and talk about this guy right here. So Broadway Limited this week announced that they're going to be coming out with their Shay locomotives. I am a big fan of gear locomotives. In fact, if they would become more modernized with DCC and so forth, and if Bachmann wasn't the only freaking producer of DCC Shays, Climaxes, the Heislers and so forth, I would definitely get more into the gear locomotives. Matter of fact, River Rossi announced another run of their Heisler lines, and I've been tempted to get one. I'm still kind of debating, but definitely grabbing me one of these Shays. And we've actually got the the retail price when it comes to these locomotives. In my Icey Rail news videos, we got the MSRP from Broadway Limited was estimated around $600, which is kind of ridiculous. It's expensive, don't get me wrong. But now we actually have both the Stealth variant along with the Paragon 4 retail price when it comes to this locomotive. And so over here you can see the DCC ready. I'm just using Train World. Train World is a big, obviously not sponsored, but I go through them a lot. I like their website, much better than Broadway Limited, since they just recently changed it, which I have another beef to talk about that here in a second. But oh, this is all sorts of jacked up. Hang on. Let me, I gotta fix something real quick. Hang on. I just realized, hang on. We'll get there. Let me fix something really quick here. But Railfan K, how you doing? Welcome. Let me just fix something really quick, guys. I just kind of noticed this. Yep, and I do not, oh, because it's window capture. Heh. That's fine. We'll get there in a second. Sometimes I am just kind of loose in the head. And we get the rail. But anyways, so welcome, Railfan K. How are you doing? So yeah, Broadway Limited announced their 4-truck Shay locomotives. Doing good? Awesome. Great to hear. And like I said, we got the retail price is $480, which I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am about this, because this is actually a pretty darn good deal. And the reason why I say that is because when it comes to Shay locomotives, they've been getting recently expensive, especially with the roundhouse kits ones that you got to put together. You got to switch out the motors for a more modern day motor if it doesn't have one. You got to get the decoder on top of that. So you're talking at least $300 just to convert one of those. And then don't get me started on brass, because brass is like starting $700 roughly for a DC version of the Shay locomotives. And you're normally going to get either the 2-truck Shay or the 3-truck Shay locomotive. The fact that we're getting a 4-truck Shay, that's kind of rare to see. Normally, I think we only see these in brass types anyway, but the fact that Broadway Limited has announced a 4-truck Shay, which is amazing to say the least. So now this is going to be $480. I think, in my humble, personal opinion, when it comes to the hobby, again, price is relative and definitely subjective. $480 for a 4-truck Shay is actually a really good deal, especially with the Paragon 4. It's got sound. You're talking, it's also got smoke, which none of the other Shays have. You have to customize it if you want to do that with any of the other older brands when it comes to DC. This is actually a really, really good deal. So I've got mine honestly pre-reserved. And kind of another thing to note about this is that when it's going to be released. So we've got them releasing in... I know I've got it here, right here. So it's actually late, let's see, April of 2024, so next year. Or 2 years. We actually got 2 years on this. I can't do math. Next year, next April. So that actually works out because nothing else is coming out during that time frame. I was hoping it was going to come out the rest of this year. So I am definitely excited that it's coming out April of next year. But again, I want to get mine just like this. It'll be the I don't want to get mine DC ready. I want to get mine fully converted. But you can see that the Stealth variant DCC ready is $400 or $399. Technically $400 count taxes, shipping, and all that. Not a bad deal in my opinion. This is actually a pretty good deal when it comes to the 4-truck Shays from BLI. Boxcar the Husky, how are you today? Welcome, welcome. So right now we're just talking about the news. A few things that I wanted to kind of cover down. And again, kind of an update to my Icey Rail videos that we finally got the dealership price for the Stealth variants. It is, as you can see here, $399. And then for the Paragon 4, it's $480. And of course, I lose my search. Thank you, computer. There we go. We'll get these back here. And I am a big fan of the Paragon 4. In fact, this locomotive that we're going to be running today is a BLI Paragon 4 locomotive. Again, $480. I think that's a good price for modern day Paragon 4, retooled and everything from BLI. Definitely good. Hey, Chuck. Welcome from South Texas as well. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Just vibing? That's awesome. Yeah, sit back, relax. Again, I just tried to talk about trains and so forth. So, but yeah, I am super excited. I do have one reserved, and the Shay is only going to be run here on the layout, so you guys will see it mostly on my streams is where we're going to do these type of gear locomotives. I know River Rossi is going to be doing another Heisler. Let's see. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Yeah, so River Rossi, I love River Rossi, and they've got their 2-truck Heisler locomotives. Basically, you got the gear shafts on the center, doing a drive shaft to trucks. And I've been thinking about picking up one of these as well. Obviously, I'll get mine DCC. But yeah, we'll definitely have gear locomotives on the layout. So one other thing I wanted to talk about is, and I'll give you guys the link here to this website, but I kind of wanted to talk about something else here. And let me go ahead and drop this in the chat for you guys. So our good old friends over at the Cab Crew team, they were on Trackside Mike's channel. They were talking a great conversation. They were talking about tracks and talking about which one's better, either Walthers, Pico. No mentions about microengineering, which is pretty funny. But I wanted to kind of further that topic a little bit, and we're talking about different rail joiners and so forth. And I wish I could have gone on that podcast, but again, I was working on. The layout here when I was listening to the podcast, and it's like, man, I've got a lot of great things to talk about when it comes to the subject. So I decided, you know what, we'll talk about a little bit here on the stream. Boxcar the Husky. You make a great point. Bachmann does make a good chunk. They make Shays, they make Climaxes, they make the Heisers, I think. Well, I'm not sure if they make the Heisers. I know for a fact they make a Climax. But I tend to stay away from those because they tend to have a lot of gear problems. I've seen one of my, when I was up in Montana in the club up there, a guy actually got a Climax from Bachmann and was running just fine. And then next we hear grinding, and then the engine stopped. Well, it was still running, but it wasn't moving. And I instantly knew that it was a fractured gear. So Bachmann has gear problems when it comes to locomotives, especially on the steam side. And I tend to stay away from anything they make when it comes to Shays and Climaxes. I try to grab them from Roundhouse and bash the Roundhouse kits together. In fact, I've got a few kits up. I may actually show you guys the Shays that I got that I'm currently working on. And eventually we'll get them built. But as far as I know, I don't have a 4-truck Shay in my collection, and that's why I decided, let's go and grab it. Broadway Limited has been on a roll with me when it comes to the Paragon 4s, so I'm excited for that lineup. But going back to kind of the whole track conversation, and you guys know my opinion when it comes to competing brands, when it comes to like track, when it comes to decoders, when it comes to the command and station that you should get. And basically my philosophy, my advice has always been, do what works better for you and your layout planning, and work with the track that your local club or your local layout use, so that way you can ask other people how that track works. So for me personally, I grew up with Pico because I've heard a lot of good things about it. Microengineering at the time was good too, but something that we discovered from the club that I was back in California was that the ties on the Pico rail is actually a little bit stronger, and the test was insane for what we did. And the club was trying to find a faster way for laying down the track, because you got multiple different ways of connecting the rail to the bedding, to the road bed. You can glue it down, you can nail it down, and so forth. And so we were trying the most radical way that we can speed up that process, and we found out that if you use the smallest nail and the lightest pressure for a nail gun, you can actually nail down the Pico track with that nail gun. And actually, two of my most of my earlier modulars on the Dragon's Branch Line, Beginner's Run, matter of fact, the testing range, and Memorial Pass was using this technique. I would actually use a nail gun to actually keep the ties down. And the experiment that we found out was that Pico actually has a stronger material that's used for the ties, because that nail on any other brand, if you use on Atlas, Walthers, or Microengineering, it would actually split the ties directly in half, even on the lightest pressure. Now on the Pico Code 83, it didn't split at all. In fact, you can still see the nail head when you actually went to go using the nail gun. And so we kind of determined that the Pico 83 was actually very durable, and I've kind of stuck with that since. Again, use the brand that works best for you in your time. Again, from what I've seen in the community, from all the test experience that I've done, Walthers, especially Walthers Sinahara, and Pico tend to be the more best quality, but again, do what works best for you. Now, something else I want to mention is that you can technically convert from code 100 to code 83, but you need to know how the rail joiners work. And so When I was in the club in California, one of those individuals in the Fremo community came up with this handy dandy conversion chart to go from like code 83 to code 100, from Walther's code 83 to Pico, and so forth. And so that's why I wanted to share it to you guys here. And obviously you'll have the replay to look through this, but basically this is a nice handy dandy conversion chart that you can use. So if you're going from Walther's to Atlas, you can see what type of rail joiner you're going to need. And so if you're going to go from a Walther's Atlas to like even the bridge rail, because again, everything's a little bit different, then you got to use the Atlas code 83-100 metal rail joiners number 170. And then same thing if you're going back to Atlas and so forth. Now, what's kind of interesting here is that you've also got into consideration for track occupancy detection as well. So obviously you want to use isolators when it comes to block detection. And so that's also incorporated into this chart. Now this is where the one that's really interesting is that we've also got the conversion when it comes to, let's say you have a Walther's double crossover that's code 83, or even I don't know if it actually has, maybe this is all for code 83, but anyways, if you have Walther's Atlas bridge that you go into either to microengineering or to Pico, then you need to use the Atlas code 83 100 metal rail joiners, and then the same thing if you want to do isolated. And some special notes, so that's pretty interesting as well. Now, this is the one that was kind of a big topic conversation when it comes to, the guys over there at the podcast I was listening to, is that when you go to microengineering code 83 to another microengineering Pico bridge or another to Pico rail, what actually works best, and I've actually been using this on my layout because I use Pico 83, is don't use the Pico rail joiners. They're actually a little bit too big for the rail. What you actually want to use is the Atlas N gauge code 80, and I've actually got a whole plethora of the Atlas code 80 N scale rail joiners because they are nice and tight. It holds the code 83 together so nicely. So that's a little bit of a tip if if you guys were wondering exactly which rail joiner to use. Hopefully this chart will help you with that. But I wanted to share that because that's something else I really wanted to talk about, kind of add on to that podcast from yesterday. So, but yeah, I use Atlas N-scale rail joiners for my code 83 Pico. So, fun time. So. Let's see. So we talked about that. I think now what I want to talk about is kind of the layout. So let's go to some of these camera views real quick. So we'll go to the 180. Unfortunately, my 180 stand's battery is actually dead. So this is pretty much the view we're going to get with the 180 camera today. But I have definitely been working on getting that third rail installed. So no longer are we going to see empty roadbed on these cameras. So as we go through it, as you can see, the rail, the Pico Code 83 has been, what I typically do is I drill down 2 holes on the track tie and I actually hand pin those Pico Code 83 to the rail bed, and then once I put the ballast down and put all that glue down, that's when it's going to get the final touch to make sure it stays adhesive to the road bed. So that's my method. Again, your results may vary. This is just the way I do it. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but that's just the way I do it. So as you can see here, welding 4's got the third rail. Welding 6 has already had it. Let's see, harbor points. So welding 1, you can see that the third rail is installed there. And then definitely you can see the third rail installed on welding 2. Now I don't have the joiners connected yet on that third rail. It's still not technically operational. And the reason being is, well, there's a couple. When I go back to the testing range is going to be swapped out. In fact, I think the next stream we will go ahead, and I think I'm close enough that I think the next stream will have a brand new modular, the wave modular in place, so that way we can get to that third rail, and that's kind of what I want to touch on next here. So I'll go ahead and bring it to just me so that way I can give you guys the latest update, give you guys a sneak peek to my next video when it comes to this modular, but we've made a lot of progress on it. All right, so this is the beautiful brand new modular. This is a 3-foot by 12-foot modular. It is a 3 to 2, back to 2 to 3 modular. And this is going to basically take place of the testing range. Now, I've got my push buttons installed. These are what I call digital throws, but really they're momentary push buttons that I've got here that I got from Amazon. Now, what's cool about this modular is that we're really going to showcase how far Digitrax has come, because now we've got the Digitrax momentary push buttons as well on here, and these actually have the lights red and green, if I remember correctly, for if it's thrown or actually on mainline, so we'll have that on the side. And on the bottom here, you can see kind of all the wiring for it. And so this bad boy right here is a DS74, basically DCC chip decoder for my turnouts. So I got 2 Taurus switch machines that I've got wired to the DS74, but then I can't remember the name of this little chip right here. You need it for those momentary push buttons from Digitrax. I actually have the instructions over here real quick. So they are, okay, so this is the again, when it comes to Digitrax, you learn very quickly that they like to complicate things, and you basically need a rocket degree to understand what's going on, but they called their switch control panel a DSX-CP1. Now, if I remember correctly, this little guy down here, again, you can't really see it too well, but is a DSX-CP, oh, sorry, a DSX-C4, again, alphabet soup, and then that connects to your DS74. Again, I'll do a whole video on kind of the wiring and schematics on this, but I'm kind of excited for this. This is going to actually allow me the third rail. Again, we are really close to getting this thing operational. Tomorrow I'm pretty much going to work on getting this thing installed. In fact, after this stream today, testing range is actually going to come down. And then I'm basically going to put the legs on this guy, get all the drops installed, get all the rail joiners, and then we'll have this modular, I think, ready for next stream. So I'm excited for that and get everything operational. So we got the leg pockets. They're from Prawn let's see, Prawn Design, if I remember correctly. Yeah, prawndesigns.com. Yeah, it's basically a laser cut pockets for your, I think it's 2x2 legs is what I use. So they slide in there and then they hand tied in place. So that's pretty much the modular. You can see my buses down here. So eventually I'll have my main bus going through, and then the sub bus will run off of this. Now I'm probably going to have 2 distribution buses here, and the reason being is I'm trying to find a revolutionary way to do block detection with modulars. So more to come on that system, because I'm still trying to figure it out as I go. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the design. And what's cool about this modular is that I'm going to have several different ways, and sorry for the noise, background noise. I'm going to have several different ways of controlling this modular. So if I'm nearby it and I need to like pretend to throw it because I'm doing ops because I'm right next to it, I got the momentary push buttons to change it. If I want to change it from the side, I've got my side buttons right here that I can control it by. The DS74 connects to LocalNet, which allows me to control it via my tablet. Because on my tablet, I need to basically program this to a different switch number. So I'll probably program this to like, because that's number 200 behind me with the DS64 of Digitrax. I'm probably going to use 201 and 202. So that way I can use the switch number to use a throw or close command to control my turnouts via my throttle on my Samsung pad there. The last way I can control the turnouts, because it's via Digitrax, via LocalNet, is JMRI, because I do have a DCS52 that has a PR4 connected to it, and then I can use JMRI to control switches as well via a controller switch command, or what I'm wanting to do it via the dispatch dispatch panel from JMRI. So a whole plethora of ways to control this modular. This is the most state-of-the-art module that I put together. It's basically everything that I've learned so far up until this point, and I love it. And hopefully I can show you guys, so that way if you're trying to figure out Digitrax, this can be a very good showcase for you guys. So I'm excited for this modular. Okay. So that's pretty much the update on the layout. So let's go ahead and go to our main events. All right, so what we have on the layout here is we have a BLI 442 Atlantic fantasy scheme. Again, I gotta say fantasy scheme for all you prototypical modelers out there. I'm seeing you. It is a fantasy scheme. But for those of you who don't know, this was an experimental unit from the Pennsylvania Railroad, and it was never really deemed worthy. Really wasn't practical. But BLI made a fantasy scheme about Southern Pacific, and you know me, I collect a lot of the Union Pacific family tree stuff, so when I saw the Southern Pacific, I eventually wanted this, because I actually do have an Atlantic that's in DC that's in brass, and I'm going to try, I will convert that over to DCC, because I would love to get a double header of this guy. In fact, I'll probably go ahead and grab it while this thing's going around. But make sure this is working. Yep, and we just gotta make sure this is big. There we go. Yeah. So again, a lot of moving parts. So kind of what we're doing today. Again, this is a fantasy train for all you prototypical modelers out there. This is my version of the Sunset Limited. This is Southern Pacific trains. It is the silver orange kind of configuration. By no means is it prototypical. Again, I am not prototypical by any stretch of the imagination. But that's kind of what we're pulling today. I've got the cars from the New Braunfels train show. Again, I've got a whole video on the New Braunfels train show along with a haul that we got, and this was part of that haul. The baggage car, I believe, was IHC that you had to assemble it, which I actually had a fun time assembling it. You had to put the trucks on, the couplers on, along with the wheels. So, and of course, and this person, yeah, BNSF, I know you love your, I am quite jealous of your Steam collection. You got an awesome Steam collection. Absolutely. And you like brass. Nice. Gotcha. S-scale is becoming an up-and-coming scale. The fact that we got scale trains going into S-scale, it's interesting. S-scale is interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and start up our locomotive here so you guys can see. Again, I apologize. The 360 camera is kind of stuck on this view for today. And there is our pretend Sunset Limited. Eventually, you'll see this train on my short videos at Samurai. I just got to convert all of these to metal wheels. And a couple of them I actually need to change over to Katy couplers because still got the old horn hooks on it, and they're actually giving me problems. So, yeah. So we'll do all the cameras here so you can kind of see. I do have our train cameras right there. We'll have that on this train eventually. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and I want to bring up Phoenix Points. And let's do this here. So as the train's coming, you can see it there on the top right-hand camera. But yeah, I have a few brass engines. I've got the UP double head experimental turbine. I've got the coal turbine in brass, and I do have an SP Atlantic in brass as well. That I eventually want to use to double head this train, but it'll take a little bit of time. That's interesting. They use HO track, huh? Very interesting. But the fact that you're getting manufacturers noticed, the fact that, like I said, the fact that Scale Trains is taking notice speaks volumes. No doubt about it. Get you guys over on Harbor Point here. And then we'll get you guys on Wilding 1. I think that camera moved on me. There we go. That's a little bit better. Oh, that's interesting too. SN42. Huh. Man, you guys are teaching me all sorts of cool stuff with S-Scale. Alright, we'll get the testing range plus 180. Yep, Chuck, I agree. Like I said, the Samurai Small show is pretty good too. It was definitely small, but it packed a lot of goodies. And I will definitely be going to them. Gotcha. And that's the thing about the hobby is like you got several different ways that you can do it. You can do prototypical, you can do fantasy like I always do. But again, that's the great thing about the hobby is that there's a plethora of variety. There's a reason why I call it the world's greatest sandbox hobby. And there's our memorial train that you guys saw last stream. Kind of have it parked on the side. Eventually, I gotta find a place to box it up. And again, and I do apologize. I know the quality is not that great when it comes to these cameras. I am working on upgrading everything. Right now, my biggest pinch point right now is the computer, because the computer requires I need to upgrade this computer for a plethora of reasons, because eventually I want to get 4 screens for my display. And I need a 4K capture card, and I need a 4K camera setup. Yeah, so the one that if you guys don't know the reference, I am part of the Samurai Model Railroading Group here in San Antonio, Texas, and so the club hosts a train show at the Garden Ridge Community Center, and it is a small space. Again, I did a whole hour-long video on this train show, and it is small. I mean, I can't factually, it is smaller, and it is a crapshoot if you're going to get something good. Me personally, for what. Again, everything is subjective when it comes to train shows. So for me personally, I found a lot of great deals on DC European trains that I'll eventually convert over. And there was something else. Oh, the Samurai has their own booth there. I was very fortunate that the donations that came in for that company store, or for the store for Samurai, had a lot of Missouri Pacific, so I scored a lot when it comes to that. So I was very fortunate. Other people may not be as fortunate. So it's really hit and miss, and it just depends on what you want. And that's why I like it. But again, I know it's not for everyone. I know they want to bring the real world prototypical stuff down to their layouts as well. And that's fine. You know, I have nothing against that. My biggest thing is that if you are a prototypical modeler, just respect those who do fantasy. And don't try to be a know-it-all. That's the thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way. But again, just be respectful. That's the only thing I ask. That is one game you will see on this channel. I do have several video gaming railroad content ready to go. I'm just trying to find a good time to release them. And Railroads Online is going to be something that I'm going to dive into. And it looks like I got to fix this one here. And that's the thing, it's hit or miss. But you know what? That just means that you can save money for the next show. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there was actually a few good layouts, and it's just nice to enjoy a train show, because when I was in some other places before being here in Texas, I didn't have a train show for years. And the fact that I am grateful to have a train show almost every so often now. I get almost 2 to 3 train shows a year, which is awesome. I'm thankful for just one train show a year. So I'm thankful for any train show that I can get to. And since we're on the topic of train shows, my next train show will be in Dallas, Texas, or Grapevine, Texas, technically, for the NMRA convention. I really wanted to go because Mini Prince is going to be there. Bernard from Mini Prince is going to be there. He's going to be doing full body scans. And so that way you guys can get a Rayron for your layout. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. So again, if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of Mini Prints. You guys have seen me use their subscription box. They basically have a blind box, kind of a loot crate type of thing when it comes to their figurines from N scale to O scale to HO scale. Highly recommend give him a looks over at Mini Prints. So that show is in August 25th through the 27th, I believe. It's the national one. The National NMRA Convention is actually being in Grapevine, Texas. So I will definitely be there. All right, let me go to all the cameras here, because let's do... Here, we'll go to this one. So yeah, let me grab the exact. I'm pretty sure NMRA 2023, Grapevine, Texas. And I'm hoping that we'll get a real life big boy on the channel to go see 4018, which 4018 is the one that's on my layout right now. I highly recommend it, because when it comes to the National Train Convention, it is expensive though. Fair warning, because I think the tickets for the show itself start at like $120 a person. So definitely, it is expensive, but it's one of those things that's probably gonna be once in a lifetime type of deal. So yeah, and that's kind of where a good chunk of my money is being saved right now, is to go to that convention, because Spring Creek is going to be there. All the main distributions are going to be there. So, yeah, let me see if I can grab... This cat is making it difficult to type. Okay, so as far as, so here it is, the 2023 Texas Express NMRA National Convention. So yeah, the date range is from the 21st all the way through the 26th. Now, the actual train show itself, to my understanding, is from, I think it actually goes to that Sunday, because I think it's supposed to be Friday and Saturday and Sunday, but I'll have to double check. Their website is trash, absolute trash, because I don't know exactly what the exact time is. It's confusing to get the tickets. It's one of my beasts when it comes to the NMRA. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with the NMRA sometimes, because that's a whole nother rant for another day. But I'm still going to go to this train show. This is the date range. The actual train show is that weekend of the 26th. So, but yeah, if you guys didn't know, that's the National NMRA Convention. It's going to be in Texas this year, and I think next year it's going to be in Long Beach, California. It's a rotating show. And I think the last one they had was in Utah for the Promontory Points, I think like 120th anniversary or something like that for the big boy and the 844 Northern. So, but yeah, it is, from what I found out, it is expensive, unfortunately. So, just keep that in mind. And I think tickets go on sale in August, 1 August. To my understanding, I'll look at it tonight, and I may do a video about it as well. So, just something to take note of. Yep, 120. Yeah, roughly 120. It's like, ugh. It's expensive, and that's like a package deal just for the train show. I think it varies if you want to do, like, the Monday through Thursday is like a lot of special guests, a lot of traveling to open house layouts and so forth, and all the activities that are in that area. And then the actual train show itself, to go see all the manufacturers, the shops and everything, that I think is Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday, but I'm not sure. So, yeah. And you gotta get the tickets online at the NMRA. And that's the thing. I think it's $120 for non-NMRA members. That's why it's a little more expensive. I think you get a discount if you are an NMRA member. So naturally, you know, they gotta make the money somehow, because, you know, these convention centers are expensive. Yeah, I'll definitely agree to that one more. And I've seen a plethora of live streamers, content creators, and yeah, it is hands down the best railroading game out there. I will agree with that. It is time consuming, but when it comes to an MMO, when it comes to railroading, that is actually pretty darn good. Definitely agree. So yeah, that'll be the next train show that I'll be at. I will be at the Mini Prince. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring this up since I've been talking about it so much. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to Mini Prince. I just gotta find it, because it's kind of buried, unfortunately, on the website. So I've got to see if I can find it here. Okay, so again, hashtag not sponsored, but awesome dude here on YouTube. Let's go, not this one, station. Okay, so miniprints.com. This is what he calls the mini-me's, and he uses 3D printing, resin 3D printing, to actually print out basically you in HO scale, N scale, or O scale. I think he does S, I'm not sure. I think that was a highly demanded. Kidding? I love you, but not right now. So, if you look at the site, there's a plethora of people here, some that you may actually know. Let me see if I can find, let's see. Ed, I think, is the 4014 cab driver. He actually got a real-life scan of Ed. Let's see here. What else do we got? Gordy. Gordy, if you guys don't know, he is the NMRA president, so he was able to get a scan of him. Let's see. Who else do we got? We got, like I said, a whole plethora of people in the community of the hobby itself, and the NMRA. Michelle K., if I remember correctly, she is the head of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum over in Greeley, Colorado. Let's see, who else do we got here? Let's see. Sparky 10717, the plumber, Tom from Tom's Trains and Things. I'm trying to find Heiss, because Heiss he did get scanned. He's a big train guy. I think he's under Mike, I think. There's Heath. So basically, the whole reason why I'm going is because I want to get body scanned. And you gotta sign up and get scheduled. There's a scheduling-based system. It is kind of expensive too. It's $89 to get scanned, but it is worth it. The fact that you at home can get a Rayron miniature on your layout. Again, these aren't. Again, this is a independent creator, independent businessman, and so he's got a price. Me personally, I like the prices. I'm supporting an independent creator. He's from Canada. And yes, he does do S-scale for all you S-scales out there. So he does N, H, O, S, and O. So, yeah. And an overall good dude. I want to give business to those who support the hobby, who support YouTubers, because he definitely supports a lot of YouTubers. Like, you guys have no idea that he is in tune with the future, in my opinion. So. Alright, let's head back to the Icey Railway here. Do all the cameras. We'll probably have this go around a couple more times, and then we'll put you guys on the train itself. And we'll go from there. So something else that kind of popped up. Yeah, that again, I perfectly agree. Railroads Online, that multiplayer aspect is key. Absolutely key. And the potential of that game is unlimited. Because can you imagine going to Class 1 Railroad as well with Railroads Online? I know they're sticking with the logging railroading for right now. But there's a plethora of just opportunities that you can do with that game. And my good friend, Whiskey, if you're still watching this channel, he actually we played together a lot on it, and I still owe him a lot of gameplay with that too. So we will get some content for you guys for Railroads Online. So one of my goals, probably for next year, for 2024, is to incorporate a lot of that. It's definitely on my radar. So we're going to talk about something else. Oh, yes. So, I am also pleased to announce that we're going to have a brand new series on, not necessarily a brand new series on this channel, but it's going to be more of the Beyond the Icey Railroads content. And what I got in today, I am super, super excited. Because it's something I really wanted to get into. And it's something that when I go to tinkering things in model railroading, especially in scenery, I need this piece of equipment. So the Mythical Railroad is going to be going into 3D printing. I actually got my 3D printer in today. We're going to set that up tomorrow, and then we're going to start doing a couple of prints to see if we can get everything going. And then sky is the limit. I got myself pretty much a very cheap entry-level type of 3D printer. But I am excited because I want to learn and I want to get into it, because there's a lot of parts that I need for some of these older freight cars, passenger trains, trucks, and so forth that's becoming a nightmare to find online. So it's just getting to the point that, you know what, I just need to get a 3D printer, let me design it in CAD, and then let me print it out so that way I can just get everything that I need and not be boggled down anymore. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get into 3D printing. So definitely more videos to come on the 3D printing side. Because I was looking at Thingiverse, because all these other great YouTubers on this website, I tell you what, Thingiverse has become an addiction. So basically, Thingiverse is a website that allows you to see what other creators have done, and they share their files, so that way, okay, why am I dropping frames? Come on, OBS. What are you doing? Thank you. Sorry about that. So here's Thingiverse. Yeah, hello. And when I go into HO scale, there's a plethora of things that you can get the file, and then obviously you're going to have to make some adjustments on your printer to print some of this stuff out. But look at this. There's things from freight cars. There's a water tower that you can 3D print. Buffers, construction vehicles, containers, and it goes on and on. I mean, you can even 3D freaking print a monkey bar cleaner. Like, what? And it's just, sky's the limit. And that's what I want to experiment with. Look, there's a backhoe here. Got a semi-truck. Trailers. Like, it just goes on, and, you know, a motorhome. And you can print it in either N scale and HO. Here's the double stacked well cars. Like, it's, this is incredible. Like, I knew 3D printing was the way forward, is the future. By far is the future. I didn't realize that we've come this far with 3D printing. So I've got a lot of experimenting to do. I want to do a time-lapse video of you guys of 3D printing. Like, there's a whole plethora. Like, I think there's going to be an independent series called the Icey 3D printing. Like, I think I'm going to do that. So that's definitely up and coming. But again, I am a novice, so please bear with me. I got to go through all the pains of learning how to do 3D printing. But I've done at least up to, cumulatively speaking, at least 48 to 72 hours worth of videos, worth of forums I've been reading through. So I've got a good grasp of what entry-level 3D printing is going to be like. And then once I get the basics, like, you know, bed cleaning, getting the alignment squared away, so, you know, maintaining it either using, you know, the sticky adhesive that's required, temperature. Do I want to stick with PLA, or do I want to go something even more crazier than that? So there's still a lot that I have to learn, but as you guys can tell, I'm a very fast learner. And so, especially when it gets to something I'm passionate about and dedicated for, and I tell you what, this is right behind it. So, I cannot wait. I am excited. Definitely excited. Yep, I agree. I wish we could see dedicated servers as well. Yep, I agree. Fan K, 3D printing is the future. Absolutely the future. I cannot stress that enough. That 3D printing is going to change this hobby. It's going to change a lot of things for me. Well, yep. Barrels Online, 3D printing. Like, there's a lot of things I want to do on this channel. We're slowly getting there. Because, again, I got to get my process of recording, editing, and publishing. It is always a process to do those things. As you guys are starting to see with the 360 videos, again, I'm taking it slow. I did the tech demo on my layout here on the Icey Rails, and then we took it full scale to the Samurai Club as well. So I've got at least 2 videos I think I've got uploaded now of the 360 videos in VR as well. Let's do all the cameras. So, yeah, I'm excited for 3D printing. Absolutely excited for it. And see, and that's the other thing, is that if you can't find a manufacturer to do it, if you understand CAD, then you can design it yourself. And as long as you have the bed space, which this first 3D printer, absolutely, I won't have that bed space because it is a very dinky, small 3D printer that I bought. I'll show you guys what I got, but it is a very entry-level 3D printer, and is for me to do one thing, and that is to learn. First and foremost. And then once that's done, I'm going to go big. And we'll start 3D printing a lot of that stuff, so. Yeah. Exactly. And I do use a couple of Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars that is really, it's fairly close to HO scale. And there's like a DeLorean 3-pack. I may actually have that. Do I have it here? I thought I had it with me, but I think I packed it for now. But yeah, I've got like a 3-pack of the DeLoreans, a 3-pack of like Batmobiles. That we can use it. Yeah, maybe. I still have to work on that front too. I gotta understand the software because you basically have to make it into a 3D. Obviously, you gotta make a 3D model and a 3D programmer, and then you gotta convert it to. I can't remember the name of the file that will only be recognized on the 3D printer. The name escapes me. SCAD? I think it starts with an S. But I can't remember. But yeah, we'll work something out. Again, once I get into the rhythm of 3D printing, then yeah, we can definitely... sounds like a deal, my friend. Sounds like a deal. Yeah. Alright, so I think I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and... Yeah. I'm trying. Like, you guys know, I want to make sure that when you subscribe to this channel, you're going to get your values worth. And you guys know that I do a lot of content. Like I said, 3 shorts a day, bare minimum. I'm trying to get to the point where I can do 1 video a day. It's been a little bit of a struggle lately to get 1 video a day. And 1 live stream a week, which is this live stream, the Icey Railway Podcast. Eventually in the future, I want to do daily live streams, but again, that's a little far out to get that. So, all right, let's get you guys on board. Let's get you guys on board this Southern Crescent here. Okay. Let's get you guys on board. All right, I'm going to just close this out real quick. All right. Now, hopefully we don't have any falling off the rails moment like we had like 2 streams ago. That wasn't fun. Or I could just jam the whole train and derail it. I mean, that works too, right? Stupid move. Momentum. I hate momentum with a fiery passion. Yeah, I jammed that pretty good. There we go. Alright, I think we got it now. I think we're good. Yeah, definitely agree there, Husky. Yeah, brass is definitely expensive. Yeah, hybrid. But I think I'm starting to see the cost of brass come down a little bit, but it's still kind of a pain. Because people want to put the price of rarity on them, not knowing exactly what the true value is, and it just skyrockets the market. Okay, we're gonna pick up the observation end car here, and then we'll get you guys going. I want to take this kind of slow. Because this is a brand new consist, and typically when I haven't tested a new consist, that's when things go wrong. Because unfortunately these cars are extremely light, and it's pulling a very heavy camera car at the end, which typically is a recipe for disaster. So to answer that, actually, if you think about it, Broadway Limited is technically, they do have hybrid brass models. They're the only ones I think for now that are doing it. I know Division Point, I think, is another major brass manufacturer. The reason why I know about them is because they got the coal turbine. That's an DCC full brass. But they want like $5,000 for it, which is, I kind of croaked when I saw that price tag. And their packaging is hideous. Alright, so welcome aboard the Southern Crescent 3002. Again, the Atlantic is your engine. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the views. But, yeah. I don't know if Sunset, I know about the brand. I don't know if they're still in business, though. Let's see. I don't know. Website's temporarily closed. Oh, some weird noises. I don't know. So, you know what's interesting is that I had an idea for yet another series on this channel. And since we're talking about brass models, kind of have it in my notes here what that series was going to be. I think it was called the Dragon's Dream List, I think is what it was. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'm going to do another series called the Dragon's Dream List. And basically what this series is going to entail is taking old brass models and actually retooling them for the modern market. And so things from, you know, if you guys talk about a lot of S-scale things, that'll be something that I would consider in the series. Like, hey, I want something to be mass-produced now. It's kind of a letter to all you manufacturers. Like, hey, I want this item. Please listen to me. Please make this model from brass. Like, for me personally, the biggest model that I want in modern day that won't cost $5,000 is the UP coal turbine engine. And I've been trying to poke scale trains to make it. But they want to be so prototypical, it's tough. Because they need the plans of the coal turbine, which from my scale trains video that I did, they do have it. So I'm hoping they'll start hopefully producing it soon. I'll make an announcement on it. But I know they got all the MTH stuff they got to deal with. So, Quasimodo. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, so far so good. Knock on wood. Alright, let's get you guys on the front view here. So again, kind of the future is that closet is going to be the future of a rail yard. If you guys have watched my Any Rail series, you kind of can see the future of this layout. That corner is going to be converted into Icey Mountain, which is going to have a switch track that goes straight into the future, what I'm going to call Kirby Yard, because I kind of do a lot of rail fanning around the Kirby Yard area. And so that's kind of the next step. But you can really see from the camera here that that third rail is finally installed. I still got to get the rail joiners connected, still got to get the drop wires in. And then eventually, like I said, as soon as this stream is done, the testing range modular is going to be retired, at least from this layout. And we'll put in the wave modular, so that way we can actually switch onto that third rail. So is there a UP or SP-9 scale trains in my future? So technically not right now, because me personally, I don't collect modern engines. I mean, I do have a lot of like modern freight from time to time that I'll pick up, but to be honest, this may kill a couple of you out there, but I'm not a fan of the Dash 9s. I don't like how they look. The only thing that I'll do modern is the 70 Aces, the SD 70 ACEs. Like, I've got a lot of heritage units, because I do like that design better than Dash 9s. But if they do like a fantasy scheme Dash 9, or if they do, I may pick up if they do more like heritage units in Dash 9 if they do that. Maybe the SP-9, I don't know. I'm not a fan of how they look, and that's why I've kind of stayed away from them. Again, I tend to collect things that are not on the rails. If I want to see a Dash 9, I'll literally just go 10 minutes away to the rail yard to see it. Husky, have you looked at Scale Trains? Because I know Scale Trains has actually announced a lot of S-Scale stuff if you looked into it. Yeah, Scale Trains has been going mad with their sales. From my understanding, it's all units that may have like cosmetic damage. I know their tankers were on sale for like 40% off as well. It was crazy. Like, I was looking at it, I was really, really tempted. But at the end of the day, I've got my money tied up elsewhere, and that elsewhere is Broadway Limited, the GS4s. So we've got the Daylights coming out this month, and then we've got the Western Pacific GS4 from Broadway Limited coming out next month. So that's where my next engine's going to be. And again, everyone likes their things differently. If you love the Dash 9s, don't let my opinion on things dissuade you from collecting them. Like, you do you have fun with what you like. Again, me personally, if I want to see a Dash 9, I can just rail fan it. I'm trying to see if I can find any ACEs. I know I've got some of the heritage units on the shelves. Let me see if you can see on this camera. Yeah, so if you look to the right there on the second from the bottom shelf, you can see the ACE MKT heritage unit right in front of the rock there. Behind it is the Southern Pacific heritage unit. I think those are the ones. Those are the ones that I have out right now. Because the MP heritage unit is actually in one of my boxes, because we use that one a lot. My wife runs the heritage unit 1982, because that's the year she was born. And 1988 is the one I will tend to run, because that's when I was born. So hey, BCF Parts, welcome. How are you? Yeah, I am an EMD. I'm kind of a fan of all types, to be honest. Mine's a Dash 9, but you know what? Let's get some of those units on a track for Eye Candy. Alright, give me 1 second, guys. Let me get these engines on here. I'll put one more engine on for eye candy as well. This is going to be a first. You guys are going to see an engine on the 3rd rail too. So officially entering a new era for the layout. Okay, that should be good. Okay. Okay, so we got just released the HO CNO K2. I'll have to look into that. Oh, interesting. Didn't know that one. The 280s. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the S helper line. Yep. Yep, you're right there, Husky. Okay, you can... Come on, breathe. Alright, hang on, guys. My cat's dying. Alright, sorry about that. No, my poor kitty has the kitty herpes, and so she coughs kind of like that. That's normal for her, unfortunately. Okay, let me scale this so you can see everything. There we go. Let me clear this. So on the track now, I got a couple of what I like to call eye candy for you guys. So on the left, we got the scale trains, big blow turbine engine. Again, I'm a big fan of transitional era UP. So, yep, naturally I'm going to have a gas turbine, the big blow. On the right, since we're talking about those ACE heritage units, I decided to put the Daylight one, the Southern Pacific, and the MKD on. Eventually, I think what I'll do is we'll have a heritage unit run day, meaning that we'll bring out all the heritage units, because I do have all of them. I just got to convert the MTH couplers over to KD couplers. So those 2 units are actually XMTH. And let's actually get you guys on the 2 camera. There we go. Something else I got to take into consideration, though, is that signal is unfortunately going to be going away, and that's kind of been a staple for this layout. So I got to figure out how I'm going to get my signaling back on the wave modular, or if I want to put it on a turn. I'm still kind of debating how I'm going to do my signal system. But yeah, guys, if you have any suggestions on any future videos you want me to do, I'll try to do the best that I can. Again, I am, depending on what the request is, I could be limited. But, again, my philosophy on this channel, you guys, I've heard this from time to time, is that, you know, I want your subscription to matter when you click that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you get your value's worth out of it. And it's not necessarily in quantity, which is kind of what I've been trying to focus on a little bit. I also want to up the quality. And if you guys have been noticing, a lot of my footage has been slowly going into 4K resolution. And eventually, I want to get the stream into 4K once the capability is there to do 4K. I think right now, YouTube itself doesn't allow 4K. I think it's stuck at 1080p. But when they make the switch over to 4K, I want to be ready. So that way, when they make that switch to 4K, everything is set up 4K ready to go. But obviously, minus the cameras that are on this train, it's going to be hard to get those to 4K. So I still got to figure out the technical aspect of it. But yeah, I've definitely got some more 360 videos coming out. Again, all the SAMR members that are here, Real Fan K, BNSF. You guys obviously get behind the scenes on when I record. So I've got a plethora of videos coming out. I'm actually behind now. Because if you guys haven't noticed on my shorts, I typically run 3 cameras per layout. Or per run. So that's like 3 videos in one shot. So it's coming along, BNSF. I do apologize. I know I kind of put that teaser episode 1 out. The T-tracks are slowly coming along. The kind of the holdup is this layout, because I'm so focused on getting that third rail operational for the stream. So it's kind of taking a backseat. And the other unfortunate thing is that my wife is kind of the one who's going to be painting them and building the modulars. And unfortunately, she's going through some medical stuff right now. So that's kind of been put on the back burner. But I want to get N scale. I want to get T-track going. Trust me. It's just real life is kind of delaying that at the moment. So it's coming. Just a little slow. But as far as the T-track is concerned, I will show you this though. I will show you this. Alright, well, unfortunately I can't find the track. But, we were talking about the T-track here. So, here is our first module that is done. I do have the curve. I've got all the track to do a layout. We just got to finish this and get all wires. So here's our first T-track module. It's a standard corner one. I can't remember for the life of me where I got this from. I think it was online from a website. It'll come to me. Oh goodness gracious. It starts with an M. It's not model train stuff either. Let me go to my Gmail, because that's where I've got it. So I just gotta find the website. I'm terrible with names. Absolutely terrible. I do apologize. Oh, Midwest Model. That's what it was. Midwest Models. So we do have all the track, we do have all the caudal drops, we have all the caudal connectors. Like, we're pretty much ready to go. It's just like I said, real life has us unfortunately delayed a little bit. It's a website. Let me give you the website. I got it from there. I believe it was from here. MidwestModelRailroad.com. I think is where I got this one from. Yeah. Again, hashtag not sponsored. But this is where I was able to find these. Because I tell you what, you N scalers have it really good. And to be honest, if I were to do this hobby over again, this is where I would be. Because the community for T-tracks is freaking amazing. They are like hardcore into the fantasy stuff. Like, you get some prototypical T-Track modulars, but when you can find Godzilla on a T-Track modular, that's a good day. Like, that's a really good day for me, because they don't care. I don't want to say they care. They're passionate about the fantasy, about bringing the kids into the hobby and so forth. So naturally, I want to get into it. And this is what brought me to N-Scale. Kato Easy Track system is another reason that got me into N-Scale as well. You guys are spoiled with the Kato system. Like, that company in itself is worth going into N-Scale. And you guys have already mentioned some other benefits here that, sorry, I just saw these here. That Kato big boy is ridiculous. Like, even I'm kind of tempted to grab one in the future. Yep. So, again, bear with me with N-Scale. I know it is a huge demand right now on the channel. We'll get there. We'll get there. So, and probably what's going to end up happening with N-Scale is that, and the beautiful thing about T-Track is that you can have multiple layouts on a T-Track setup. When I was with the, when I saw the new Braunfels Train Show T-Track setup, they had literally the outer loop was DCC, the inner loop was DC. That's eventually what we're going to do here. We'll have the outer track be like DCC, and the inside will be like DC. And originally, I was going to go with DigiKeys for my DCC system for N-Scale. Unfortunately, if you guys have been following the news, they've gone bankrupt. And so when it comes to big investments, I want to make sure that the money that I put into, you know, I'm going to have the customer service support when it's there in the future. And so I kind of decided to go with NCE for the N-Scale, so that way I know that I have the knowledge to talk to NCE system and talk to Digitrax as well. So, and then obviously for the DC side, it's going to be Kato, because we already have all the Kato stuff ready to go. So, I was trying to find my bag. I have a whole bag of track to show you guys, but it kind of just disappeared, so it's somewhere. But basically we're going to have 2 turns, so I have a turn here, another turn, we'll have 2 straights, and 2 more turns. So it's going to be a 2x3 T-Track layout, but we can expand it much more bigger than that. So, it's coming. Again, but I can't really guarantee. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, spoiled. N-Scale is spoiled. I love HO. I started with HO. But N-Scale is leading the way with T-Tracks. Again, you guys are spoiled when it comes to N-Scale. That's why if anyone were to ask me if they were getting into this hobby, what scale to really get into, nothing can beat this. Because you can literally have a layout anywhere. And what's cool about it, if you have a fold-out table, you can have a 4x4 layout of double-track mainline N-Scale. Can't do that with HO. Like, the best you can get is basically this layout that I have right now, if you want to do something somewhat modulistic. But, yeah, T-Track, man. Huge, huge fan of T-Track. Of course you did, Ralph. So we got onto the topic of brass engines. And I kind of want to show this off. So this was actually, I think, the first brass model engine that I ever got. And this was actually a generous going away gift from my previous club that I was with. They graciously gave this to me as a gift, and I was ecstatic because I always wanted this type of engine, the engine that you see running on DC side. So this is right here is a brass Western Side model company made in Japan. Class A6, the Atlantic. And what's cool about it, again, it's very, very similar. So there it is right there. Very similar to the one that you see here. But there's some slight differences. I was actually quite happy. First, this is 3000, and then the headlight is actually in the center, whereas the other one's on top. And then the other big difference is that is, I think, that is a coal tender. This is an oil tender. So the plan is, I want to convert this to DCC, so that way we can double head this one with that one. So I'm excited for that. So that's one of the brass engines that I've got. Alright, 2 cameras. Alright, let's see here. Oh, okay. Ooh, I may actually have another show and tell here. No, that's the 844. Never mind. It's not the one I was thinking of. Still trying to find that track. It's gonna bug me now. Can't find that N-scale engine. I appreciate that, Husky. Yeah, I can do show and tell forever, but... Alright, so again, welcome everyone. If you are new to the channel, again, I am Ray, your host. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, that bell icon. Again, when you press that button, my main mission is to first get you guys exposed to model railroading. There's a lot of great things about it. Again, I am an HO fantasy modeler, and if that's not really your scale, not really your thing, there's a plethora of other great model railroading YouTubers here. From Humanity Junction to Sparky 107 to Trackside Mike. I mean, there is a plethora of streamers on this channel. So, the issue is time. So, we talk about model railroading and the whole sandbox aspect of it. There's a podcast that happens typically Saturday mornings. I think it's called Back on Track podcast, if I remember correctly. Again, you guys can correct me if I got that wrong. I'm terrible with names. I apologize. But I think it was Otter River Valley. They always ask the general question, what type of model railroader are you? And you got like these subcategories of model railroading. You've got the engineer, you've got the kit basher, you've got the prototypical railroader, you've got operator, railroad, and so forth. What I am in the grand scheme of the hobby is that I am first and foremost an engineer. I love to run trains. I love running them around in circles forever and ever and ever. I think the longest that I've run a train is 24 hours straight with no sleep. That was fun. And I think I put in almost 2 weeks worth of running a train in circles for a state fair back in Montana. Not on one go, but for that 2 week long period. So I am a engineer first and foremost. Ironically, I'm not into ops because operations tends to fall under the prototypical side of the house from time to time. But I want to get back into it. It's just, again, time-wise is kind of an issue. Sammer, the club that I'm with now, they do operations mostly on Saturdays. The first Saturday, the third Saturday, I believe, and then then the last Friday of the month they do operations. And it's okay. It's just right now it's difficult with just scheduling. When it comes to kit bashing, unfortunately, and when it comes to building buildings, to building scenery and all that, that's kind of the second. I hate to say this, but I am really low tier when it comes to that type of stuff, and it just comes down to time. You know, there's just not enough time in the day to do all this stuff. I want to learn. If you're big into kit bashing, there's another YouTuber. Well, it's kind of a community or a committee YouTuber stream called New Tracks Modeling. I was actually, when New Tracks Modeling was starting up, I was helping them out a little bit. They used to do a Wednesday show and a Saturday show. I was usually helping out with the Saturday show, and then they stopped doing the Saturday shows, and I kind of went independent, creating this channel after that happened. But yeah, if you're big into the kit bashing stuff, New Tracks Modeling that is your channel to look into and go from there. But no, me personally, I'm not big into the kit bashing, because when it comes to fixing up, when it comes to building scenery, building buildings, kit bashing and so forth, that's kind of my luxury in the hobby. That's when I like to just blast some. I'm big into electronical music, so I blast my Armin van Buuren, my Hardwell, and all that type of music while I'm building. And my engine decided to just crap out. Looks like we got a derailment here. So this modular has been giving me problems. But when it comes to kit bashing and all that stuff, I tend to do that off camera. And I will typically do a video just talking about it in like a showcase video, or here you'll see it on the layout and so forth. But when it comes to building the scenery, I tend to buy those already pre-built, just because I can get that eye candy on the layout kind of quickly, for a lack of a better phrase. So, yep, EDM. Big EDM fan. Alright, so let me show you guys the derailment, because everyone loves a good derailment. So that is the current situation there. Testing range has been a big problem for me lately, because again, it's going from micro-engineering to Pico, and it's a little bit misaligned, and so it likes to derail a lot of my finicky cars. Case in point. So the baggage car is completely off to the side. That's another reason why I've got to get that module replaced, because I'll be going to Pico instead of Pico to microengineering. All right. I think we're ready to go here. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with kit bashing. I want to get into kit bashing. And basically where I want to kit bash the most is on flats, building flats, because I've got a lot of ideas when it comes to this layout. So kind of my next step is to expand kind of the scenery aspect of this. So imagine that you see this modular in front of you. Now imagine a piece of wood going vertical from that modular, and it'll be like a background scenery of like a cityscape. And that's kind of where I want to take this layout a little bit. The Bob Ross, the model railroading, nice. Yeah, and BCA parts. When you get the opportunity, look at the first half of the stream, because I go into a plethora of detail when it comes to tracks. As a matter of fact, let me. I'll show you this. You know what? I think I got it. Yeah, I'll bring this up. I'll talk about this briefly here, since I don't know if you were here at the beginning. Let's go ahead and do... Okay. So one of the Fremo members in California had this conversion chart. So if you're going from like going from a particular microengineering to Pico, you will use N scale code 80 rail joiner for the Pico. So if you're a big fan of Pico track, don't use the Pico joiners. Use the Atlas N gauge code 80 joiners, and they fit like a glove. And it's nice and snug. It won't move. And that's actually what I use for my modulars as well when I use the Pico track. So yeah, this is a really, really handy cheat sheet. It talks about Walthers to Atlas, Atlas to Micro and Pico, what type of rail joiners to use, and so forth. So I love this cheat sheet right here. So. Okay. Why are we going at grandma's pace here? Let's go a little bit faster. So. So I've been watching a lot of Steve Childers videos lately because he does a lot of flats before his Chicago themed layout. And I love flats. I love the idea of flats because it allows me depth. It allows eye candy. It allows me to put a city landscape into kind of the picture, the diorama. And so that's kind of where I want to take the layout a little bit. Some of these modules will have a backboard that'll have those city flats and mountainscape flats. And it'll probably change depending on which module you're in just to get a different cityscape. And we'll take it from there. Oh my goodness, the AC9s. Is that the 2882 from Southern Pacific? Is that the AC9s? Let me double check. Again, I'm not too familiar with. You can only get that mother effer in brass. That's one engine I really, really want. Steam locomotive. Yep, that's it. Sun Pacific. Yep. Oh, I want that engine. That's a beautiful engine. I love how they designed it off of the GS4s. If this is what you're talking about. So we're talking about this bad boy right here, the AC9s. This will probably be one of my first episodes on the Dragon's Dream List. I want someone, dear Scale Trains, dear Walthers, please make this engine as well. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous engine. It's basically been inspired by the GS4s. And this is the thing too, you O-scalers, you guys have this in O-scale, which I'm jealous of. Yeah, it's the two 884s. Wizard of the Monterey. Ooh, probably. I'm probably too young. Yeah, you O-scalers. Lionel's another company that's great for O-scale. And MTH, like... yeah. Yep. Yeah, so exactly. It's a non-cap forward, the 284s. It's a 4. I thought it was a 2. That was close. But no cigar. Okay, now you're going to make me research. Let's take a look at what this is. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it's the American. It's John Allen. Okay. Oh, we derailed again. Son of a gun, we're derailed again. I'm gonna have to flip that car around. Okay, that's the John Allen. I need to do more. I'm gonna do more research on John Allen. It's not a name I think I'm not familiar with. True, yeah, O-scale win. I mean, fair, very, very touche. Fair point. Yep, definitely agree with that. Yeah. All right, let me switch this around. Oh, no, I don't think I can, actually, because that's my converter car. Darn it. You were working great, and now you're just constantly derailing on me. What's going on here? Alright, let's take a look at your wheel set here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to rotate my couplers here so I can rotate the chassis and see if we can go from there. And then if that's not the problem, then we'll rotate the other one. Welcome to troubleshooting. It's a nightmare sometimes. Alright, let's get you there. Yep, I 100% agree with that. I can't wait to get my GS4s in though. I want that Western Pacific coming in. Fair enough, and I'll take that as a compliment. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I am 100% on the fantasy scheme. Like, I will create some very, very weird contests sometimes. Like, I think this one's is up there too. Stage fright, yep. I think that code's got stage fright. But yeah, I'll have to do, again, I love learning new things, so. Yeah, scratch building. Oh, yeah, see, I'm getting them confused now. Yeah. That's right. It is a 2 on the Cat 4, but 4 on the AC9s. Oh, yeah, the 4's underneath the cab. No, you're right. Yeah. I'm tracking. Because it's the 4 that's driving me. Yeah. No, you're right. Yep. Understood. Papa John, how you doing, good sir? So, I've got some news for you, Papa John. I'm going to try. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so Glory and defeated. That's interesting. I'll answer that one in a second, real fan. Okay, so Papa John, I have invested into a 3D printer. We are getting into the 3D printing age, and long and behold, I do have one of those cabooses that has that coupler box that I know you've been trying to find someone to do the 3D print. Just me. So yeah, you got this little box right here that's a pain in the butt to find because unfortunately my Rio Grande needs another one because I'm trying to make a Rio Grande cattle train with my GP30 engine that I just got. And so that was, when I saw that I needed one of those, I realized, okay, we need to get into 3D printing because I can make this in CAD and print a whole crap ton of them. So that's going to be like the very first thing I'm going to design and print out and test. Once I've got that finite, I'll send you some. Let me know exactly how many you need, and then we'll go from there. So I can understand the volume of my bed. So let's go back to this question. So it's a good question. Let me get you guys back on the train here. And I should move this down probably. I should put this up. There we go. Okay, so out of the Union Pacific Heritage units, which one is your favorite and why? Okay, let me grab that engine. All right, so at least 20. Okay. Yeah. Give me about a month. I'm gonna try to again experiment. I literally just got my 3D printer in today. I've got to experiment it with tomorrow. It's gonna be a good chunk of my day tomorrow, and then that's gonna be like the very first thing I'm gonna start 3D printing. All right. So my favorite Heritage scheme is my MP. Missouri Pacific has a very sweet color scheme. I'm a big fan of blue, obviously with the whole motto of the Ice Dragon. So 1982, Missouri Pacific. I just love this color scheme. I love the fade from the blue to light blue with the famous Mopac eagle that's in the center. Like this one's my favorite out of all of them. So my poor MTH box has seen better days. So we'll put this guy on the layout since I've got it out. So okay, let's see what we got. See, and that's going to be the other issue. The 3D printer that I got is a very small enclosed 3D printer. It's got like a glass panel you can fold down and up, I think, to my understanding, so I don't have to breathe all that crap. And it blocks the moisture, it blocks the airflow, so it doesn't interfere with the PLA. So that's kind of the way forward. Again, I gotta continue to experiment and figure out where really the best place to put that printer in this house is. So yes, so the Rock is an interesting one because the Rock train technically it's 50-50 when it comes to violating my rules, because again my rule set is basically collecting in the Union Pacific family tree. So anything that Union Pacific has bought or any of its sub railroad predecessors have bought, I tend to collect. So obviously MP, Southern Pacific, MKD, Chicago Northwestern, Denver Rio Grande, and I think I'm missing a few others, but that's why I tend to collect. The Rock is a little bit interesting because technically they didn't buy the Rock, but they bought like 60% of the company's rail lines. So I kind of, under my rule set, under my railway lore, I just said screw it, we'll just assume that Union Pacific bought out the Rock. So that's typically what I go with. Yeah. Yeah, 5,000. And see, again, we were just talking about this. Over on Thingiverse. You know, over on Thingiverse. Look at this. You can print out. And I know Jim has been printing out cars as well. He just printed out his like 100-gallon tanker car. So that is the future, and I definitely want to be a part of that because it's just going to save me so much money in the future. So again, I'm starting off small. Got a very small, very entry-level 3D printer, and then I'll eventually go bigger. But just going through Thingiverse, it's crazy the amount of stuff that's on here for HO scale. Absolutely crazy. So I've got the 3D printing bug for sure. For sure. I watch all the podcasts, Husky. Sidetrack Sunday, Second Section Podcast. From time to time, I'll go on Artie's stream with Anthony Dodge. I think mine's got a fan to do that. I have to double check the specs on it. Yeah, the fan is extruding out the flame. So, again, I still got to figure all that out. Again, I am a novice, so any tips is appreciated. But yeah, that's definitely one thing why I'm experimenting. So, we'll get there. But yeah, I definitely understand that. Because the other problem is I have cats, so it's probably gonna be locked up in one of these rooms with the window open. But yeah, Husky, going back to your comment there, yeah, I watch all the podcasts typically, because I want to learn new things, and there's so many great shows here on YouTube for model railroading. Because you can always teach an old dragon new tricks. From the old saying of, you can teach an old dog new tricks, but... Hey, we didn't derail. Yay. And I know there's been a lot of people wanting me to go on... let me get this name right. Yeah, I watch Cab Crew Wednesdays. That's another one that I watch. I watch Heath religiously. Because you want to talk about how model railroading and the relationship of model railroading and tech, he's definitely the leader of the pack, hands down. Like, he is pushing how far we can take technology with model railroading. I watch... Man, let me just go to my sub feed. I will watch... Now, unfortunately, I believe... Jason the Train Freak. I watch him when I can. I know he streams same time I do, so I can't necessarily watch his streams, but I watch him do fast track. He's great knowledge on fast track stuff. Alright, Real Fan K, I will see you on Sunday, my good friend. Again, go subscribe to Real Fan K. He does a lot of Sammer content as well. Does a lot of rail fanning stuff as well. So give him a follow. Yeah, so I watch Jason and Train Freak for Fast Track. So I typically go back and watch his content there because I do want to get into Fast Track. Definitely want to get into Fast Track. So that's gonna save me a crap ton in the future. It's just the entry level cost is insane. But I know in the long term it is the way to go. But for now, I've got Pico and it does the job. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a perfectly good statement, yep. I think... True, you can go outside, like with a dryer vent, yeah. Again, I'm not going to make these monumental prints. They're going to be very small. Right now, the biggest use that I have for it is very small pieces that I need to get my older models squared away. Like that piece for that caboose for the coupler. That's definitely one thing that I need. I know, like I said, Papa John's Trains also needs that piece. So that's definitely one that I'm going to do. And then I need to print out trucks. Because I've got a lot of old school cracked trucks, plastic trucks on a lot of these old school freight trains or freight cars, and I want to 3D print a couple of them just to see which one's going to work best with those. So those are going to be like my top two prints that I'm going to do for now. And then we'll eventually, as I get more experience, more knowledge, more trial and error, then I'll start relocating the 3D printer for bigger scale stuff. But I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited. But yeah, and kind of going back to the podcast. So yeah, there's so many great podcasts on YouTube. Yeah, cool. I didn't know that either. Man, I'm learning so much about S-Scale from you guys. That's awesome. Yeah, fast track for Code 100. Interesting. Very interesting. Is it on? Yeah. But yeah, I've been privately messaged to go on a couple of podcasts. I'm trying to deconflict my schedule. That's kind of the big issue why I haven't been on some of them. And like there's plenty of opportunities to do it. It's just really you're looking at really the only time I can stream for now. There are times, like I said, the other time that I go on is to Artie's podcast, because that also fits for Saturday night streams. So if I'm usually not streaming here, I'm usually over there either on camera or in the chat. So I didn't know it either. It's purely American scale. Interesting. Very interesting. So I can get mine. So if you guys shop around, normally my turnouts I can get HO scale for around $30. And that's typically if I get Iron Planet Hobbies with Heath's code. I can get them at a really good price. That's usually where I go to for all my Digitracks, for all my track when they're in stock. For my modular, I don't know if you guys were here earlier. This is more kind of on a track subject here. This is the newest modular that's going to go on to the layout. This is the Wave modular, and it is number 6 picos because I couldn't find number 5 picos, so it's a little tight on the ends for my liking, but it works. So as soon as this stream is over, I'm taking down the testing range modular, and the Wave modular is going to go up. Oh, absolutely, BCI parts. And that's the thing, too, is like, I go there for the content and for the information. So I go to those podcasts. I do tend to chat in the chat room. So, I'm typically there. And if you do an @RayRun VR, I tend to wait back to those who at me so I can actually see it highlighted and so forth. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's the thing, when it comes to technology, especially newer technology, I tend to buy the cheap entry-level stuff. Like when it comes to the, matter of fact, a perfect example of that is my rail fanning camera series. Like if you go back to episode 1 of the train cam, man, it was like the cheapest thing that you can buy off of Amazon. It doesn't have the greatest quality, but I started with that so I can understand my procedures. It's like when you do this type of content, not only do you have to think about getting the camera, you gotta understand how to use it. And there's a great video out there. I can't remember who made it. Ken Patterson. That name sounds familiar. Is he part of the New Tracks modeling crew? If so, then yes. I don't know if let's see. I don't know if I actually follow him on YouTube. Let's see. But I will give him a subscribe. Oh, yeah. Yep. I am subscribed to him. Oh, yeah, he's, what's neat this week? Model Railroading Podcast. Yes. Yeah, I do follow that. Yep. Great channel. Great channel. And I tried to do a second podcast on his channel that was kind of inspired by that one, called the Icey Station Podcast. But I quickly discovered the type of content that I do because my background is more running trains. I realized that the Icey Railway Podcast, where I just run the trains, talk about trains, talk with you guys, it was clear to me that the audience liked this more. And so I kind of just continued to improve this style of broadcasting for me. Because I think what I do is unique, but again, the number one rule that I have on YouTube is compete against yourself and improve from the last stream, from the last video, and so forth. And so that's the perspective that I take each and every time. So now keep in mind too, taxes is a big one. Taxes are a little bit high in Texas, but again, always shop around, look at other YouTubers, see if they have an affiliate code, and then take advantage of those discounts. Like Heath with Iron Planet Hobby has been the best deals that I can get because it's free shipping and it's 10% off discount on top of what they're already selling as the dealership price tag, and they're typically low as it is. I have mad respect for Iron Planet Hobbies. Mad respect for them. And they have a YouTube channel as well. Yeah. And you get, yeah, it's like free shipping. It's just crazy. When they have things in stock that I need, I grab them. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of good content. A lot of good content. So, again, my channel is mostly focused on the engineering aspect of it. So I do a lot of train camera videos. We're diving heavily into the 360 videos now. This layout and live streaming. So that's what I bring to the table. Valve gear. Again, it's just whatever makes you happy and whatever items make you have fun. Like, I actually did several other YouTube channels, and basically what it came down to is I enjoy this hobby the most out of all the other stuff that I do. Like, I had a manga channel, I had a collectibles channel. As a matter of fact, you can see the links on this channel on the homepage. I was trying to get into a pop culture channel, but for some reason, the stuff that I was doing in model railroading just stuck with me. And you guys can see the end result of that. I find much enjoyment from this hobby. And like I've been on and off live streaming for about, when did I start? When did Twitch become a thing? That's usually my staple from when I really started to stream. When did Justin.tv become Twitch? I think it was back in 2012, 2014. So I actually started model railroading, ironically, with N scale, because I didn't have any of my HO stuff because they were at my parents' place. But in 2014, when Justin.tv became Twitch.tv, that's when I kind of dabbled into, under a different username, obviously. I didn't have Rayrun at the time. That's when I tried to do Warhammer 40k first, but there wasn't any categories at the time for Warhammer. It was all video game related stuff, so I kind of got hidden under the video game Warhammer stuff. And then I eventually became model railroading, but there was no category to put my content on, so it was like, no one was watching. And so I was on and off streaming. And then when YouTube started to do the live streaming, and especially when they started the shorts is when, because I always had this idea of recording a train going from one spot to the other, like mini rail fanning. That's kind of where the inspiration came from. And when shorts came about for YouTube, and they were really kind of pushing the format, I knew that that's what I needed to go into, because I had this idea for a long time, and shorts really was the platform for me. And then you guys can obviously see the results of that. And again, I have to thank all of you for watching it, because it's gotten a lot of positive reviews. And then from shorts, it kind of just, I started dabbling in all sorts of other different things and seeing, what works for me, what works with my schedule. So, yep, absolutely agree. And that's the thing about YouTube, is like, if people want to make it a full-time gig, you gotta put, man, almost 14, 15 hours if you have a full-time job already. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. But I'm having fun, and that's the thing. That's how I avoid burnout, is because I am extremely passionate for this hobby. So. But that's the thing, I hate editing too. I really, really, really hate editing. But it just got to the point where I had to find a natural assembly line type of mentality. So once I understood the style of editing, it makes everything easier. Like, I find my transitions, my texts, which I've kind of gone away from on some of my videos, but it's all about process and doing what's right for you. Oh, exactly, Warren. Like I said, for HO, to get the turnouts that I want, it's going to cost like $500 to get all the tooling, all the tools to shave off the corners that you need. But if you build enough of them, that almost pays for itself. And then you can get it down to like $4 or $5 a turnout. Because really all you got to pay for is the ties, to solder the pieces, the wood ties, to put everything together. And what I like about Fast Track is once you get enough skill from the templates, you can make any type of turnout that you want. And making those paper templates, so that way you can make the turnout that you need. And that for me is golden. Because I want to make custom turnouts from my 3x12 modulars. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. No, I love Hobo Shoestring. I'm subscribed to him as well. It's a pretty cool lifestyle, not gonna lie. It is pretty cool. Matter of fact, funny enough, I actually watched his latest video going through the East Coast, and it was like an hour-long video too. That he was going through all the tunnels in the Appalachian Mountains there on the East Coast in the U.S. But yeah, the things change. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is definitely the world's greatest sandbox hobby. I can't stress that enough. It is a darn good hobby. Yeah, I'll get you this view because we haven't done this view in a while. The camera train in the middle, and then the overall layout. So if you guys don't know, if you guys are new to the channel, this is basically the layout. We've got the modulars are, like I said, 3 foot by 12 foot. It is inspired by Freemo standards when it comes to the track laying, to the wiring. It's all Freemo standards, but the bench work is a little bit smaller than Freemo standards. If you want to see Freemo standards, like true Freemo standards, these two modulars on the side here, I think it's under Wilding 4. So you can see under these on Wilding 4, there's a little modular in the back there. Those are Freemo standards, and they're huge. So that's true Freemo standards. Let's see, let's adjust this a little bit here. Oh, you used to ride them. Nice. I can imagine, like, some of the videos from Hobo's Shoestring, just the amount of noise coming from those wheels and the squealing from the wheels, like, you have no ear protection or no insulation from that outside noise. So I can imagine hearing is going to be the biggest thing. But yeah, I can imagine it's demanding. Yeah, and I try to do a mixture of long videos as well. The rail cam videos are about 30 minutes a piece. My fun run videos from Samra, I want those to be an hour long because I try to cater to several different audiences. Like, I try to cater to those who like the longer 1 hour videos, and then I've got like the 2-minute shorts. So I'm trying to do a breadth of variety when it comes to the length of my videos. And then you got the ones in between that are, 10 minutes to 30 minutes. And then the live streams, I love interaction. I love talking with you guys. It's the great thing about live streaming. And so I try to do it bare minimum 2 hours. And I think we're already at, this is probably going to be a 3-hour stream because you guys are awesome. You guys are rocking it tonight. So... let's go a little bit faster here. One 12 scale, nice. One scale that I really want to do, and it's going to be kind of a end game type of content for this channel. Now, I do have one video. I have one video that talks about 7¼ scale railways, the ones you can actually physically ride. Bitter Creek and Western video, I was able to actually ride one and drive an engine. But I would like to own my own 7¼ scale railway. Like, my dream is to have a 7¼ scale railway that you guys can come to and ride. And I would love to live stream it. So that's like an end game content goal for me someday. Fair enough, BCF parts, nice. Huh, interesting, Boxcar Husky. Very interesting. That's one thing. I wish I could ride Amtrak more. Like, I see a Sunset Limited from time to time over here in San Antonio. Yeah, 1/8 scale. So For the is that the one that's elevated? That you gotta ride completely on one elevated? Can you, the 1/8? Can you still? Is that G scale or? I think I'm getting my scales mixed up for 1/8. I don't know what scale 1/8 is. So I know you got the 7 1/4 and 7.5, and then you got the elevated trains. But I think those are also live steamers as well. Like, my knowledge on it is kind of minimal, but I see the videos on it all the time. I need to go to my train museum here, because they've got the rideable one. They've got the fully elevated track for the rideable live steam. Not necessarily 7 1/4, 7.5. I think it's the 1/8 scale. There's a garden scale there, there's an HO, and a T-track scale there. But it's been almost a year since we've been there. Gotta hit that back up. It's the Texas Railway Museum, I think is what the name of it is. It's by San Antonio Airport. Huh, wow. That's awesome. I do appreciate you guys sharing all this information. Again, I love stories, so that's awesome. Again, that's how we learn. Learning from stories and learning from the past. And sometimes, unfortunately, that's a dying art. Perfect white noise, yep. And that's the thing, it's like, just hearing the engine going around in circles here, it is very soothing white noise to me. It's like, I can fall asleep to this. There's just something about it. And I say that's why I'm more of an operator. That's great. Oh man, but I was soldering some joints for my my tortoise switch machines for this new modular, and I realized my solder gets hot at 600 degrees. The soldering iron that I had at the time only went up to 450, so it was like, crap, I gotta make an emergency purchase from Amazon, get me a soldering iron that can get to over 600 degrees. Made a world difference. It's just one of those inconvenient things, like, gosh dang it. Had I known ahead of time. 1/16 scale. Okay, gotcha. No, that's all. I get it. Cool. 3.5 gauge. Okay. Cool. Gives you guys a little bit of different camera rail fanning angles here, or what I like to call mini rail fanning. See, and that's what I would call ghost noise. Like, you're so used to that. This happens to me a lot when I have like a favorite song that I play on repeat for like ever. It gets to the point it gets stuck in your head, and then it just like becomes a ghost noise. You just can't get it out of your head. Alright, camera, don't spaz out on me now. Actually, that's actually a good point. Let me check on these batteries. We're at 50%. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, here comes the Atlantic. A 442. With my version of the Southern Crescent. I can imagine. Nice. The 4460. Eventually, I want to get mobile stands for these cameras, so that way I can adjust them on the vertical axis, and then the wheels I can then rotate them wherever I need them to be. So I've got a lot of future plans for these cameras, because right now they're just mounted on the walls, but I kind of want to have more mobility with them, and then go from there. Right? Oh, jeez. I have to adjust these. Yeah, that would be cool. So this camera right here, my 180 camera is what I call it. It is the only one right now that is 4K capable, but again, I can only stream up to 1080p, 60 FPS. So this is the only camera that really is the quality that I want all my other cameras to be, at a minimum. So, hashtag future dreams. Yep, and that's the thing. If you know how to do CAD and understand, especially the millimeter system with the nozzles and the type of and the thickness of your PLA and so forth, the sky's the limit. It really is. And eventually, what I really wanted to get into was resin 3D printing. The problem is I have animals, and considering I need other equipment to really get the full potential of resin 3D printing, it wasn't for me the way to go currently. So that's why I went with the PLA instead. But what I really want to do is the resin printing. But that'll be for another time. So I don't want my... as soon as I realized what resin 3D printing was all about, which is basically UV light with the liquid resin, I didn't want my cats near that. So... oh, that's cool. So we're going to do an upcoming stream once I get my GS4 daylight, and once I can confirm that I can actually run it on this tighter radius. We'll do an SP run day where everything on the layout is Southern Pacific. Because unfortunately right now I just have the Bachmann GS4s, which they're a piece of crap. But I wanted them for my collection, so here's the SP Freedom Train. I'm not getting this in BLI, unfortunately, because my money went towards the Daylight scheme and the Western Pacific scheme. They also had the Freedom Train in BLI, but I wasn't going to go down that route. But yeah, this is the 4449, the American Freedom Train scheme. I'll probably have that as eye candy on the siding. There can be. I'm still toying with it. Yeah. It works though, because I cannot begin to tell you how many other people are struggling just to get to this view. Like, just to get to this view in itself took me about 12 years to figure out. Ever since live streaming was a thing, I had to figure out how can I live stream from the train. And to get to this damn near broke my brain. I'm just happy it works. Yeah, it's clunky. Yeah, it's being captured by 10 different devices. But it works. Like, I'm not sure how best of quality I can get out of it. No, I'm doing the PLA, the string version. I thought that was called PLA. No, I'm not doing resin. I'm doing the, I'll grab them. Alright, since we're going down this rabbit hole, I might as well just show you guys. Alright, since you guys have made it this far into the stream, I'll just show you guys the boxes. Okay. So it came with a 4-pack. I got this off of Amazon. Again, it's very, very entry-level 3D printer. So, here's the PLA. There's a white. There's a blue. There's a black. And there's a red. And then here's the printer itself. Is it Intina, I think is the name of this? The Tina 2 Basic. So again, it's a very, very small, very entry-level 3D printer. And it's going to allow me to do a lot of just, it's knowledge. It's knowledge that I'm seeking, and that's what I want to get out of it. So I realize I can't do the really big stuff right now. It's basically detailed parts that I want to print. Like I said, to fix some of my older models. So that's where I'm going with it. Oh, you have the Kato Daylight? Yeah, N-Scale, like I said, Kato. Kato is just the king of N-Scale. They got some good stuff. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm happy with this view. I think some other streamers can get to this view. I think Heath is capable of doing this, but it's not a feature in his stream. He's more of a educational, you know, how far can we take tech with model railroading. Go V and Go Home is another one that I think can do this, but again, doesn't do it often. Again, this is what I love to do, so this is a main feature for my live streams. And technically, I can go up to 4 cameras. It's just, you know, Mystic Railroad, John from Mystic Railroad, he had the idea of having 2 additional cameras, which I can do, but showing the, you know, left and right views. The issue with that is that there's not enough eye candy for the left and right views. You know, it's facing inside the layout, which is just me, and then facing the outward, which is just the wall. When I get more scenery, when I get the backdrops for these modulars, I think I'll bring that back up again. But for now, I'm pretty content with these 2 views, along with all the other cameras. And then obviously I can focus on 1 camera, so we'll get the back view here for a little bit. So it brings model railroading to life. I just love the idea that we can get sucked into this little world. And again, my layout's not scenic. It's something that I want to do. Right now I'm trying to focus on functionality first, which is why I'm focusing on getting this modular built so we can get pretty much all the functionality that I need. And then we'll go ham on the scenery. So there's those 2 full-scale or Fremo modulars that you can see down there. They were part of an old 4 modular design that's kind of retired now. Because once I got this layout up and going, it kind of replaced it. But some of the earlier videos on this channel, you'll see that layout in action. I called it like the Mythical City, or the Mystic City, something like that. I can't quite remember what I called it, but and for now, I can safely say it is impossible right now to live stream from Samurai. I just don't have the internet to do it. So, hey Thomas F, how you doing, good sir? Welcome, welcome. Yep, fair enough. Yeah, I'll do some more research on Josh Allen, or John Allen, excuse me. So, to get the cameras that small, jeez. I've seen people get cameras into N-scale models. Caboose 121 is a YouTuber that has found a way to do it. I don't know how to get a camera that small. The only thing that I know of is open source hardware and software for those cameras. Heath, I think, is another good one to talk to because I think he's got a link to Amazon that has the cameras that small, but you gotta learn open source coding, and that's what limits me from going into smaller cameras because I do more what's available in the commercial market. I don't dive into open source cameras and coding and so forth. That's Heath's department. Heath from Humanity Junction, another YouTuber on. He does mostly N scale, but he does have a small HO, a small G, and a small O. So let's get back to. Let's give you guys the front camera view actually for a little bit. Well, see, and that's the other thing, too. So, Heath has kind of made this a good point, too. He has tried to strip down cameras, but kind of the problem you run into is how is that lens wired to the motherboard? Because if it's, like, part of the motherboard itself, it actually makes it difficult. So, it really comes down to how it's designed. Because sometimes you can, sometimes you may not be able to. And for these cameras in particular, it requires an external power source. That's why I use those lithium batteries that's on the flat car. I think my 180 camera can quickly capture it. So you can see those two external batteries. So it's like I gotta have that available so I can plug it in. But I kind of like these cameras because it gives you kind of like a domed car perspective. So that way you can see above the train. And I kind of like this view. Because I've ridden in dome cars before. And this is exactly what it reminds me of. So in all actuality, I should call this the dome camera car. Even though we're not technically in a dome car, it still gives you that perspective. And then we got the memorial train. I did a Memorial Day type of video that the big boy was pulling. And then that was our last stream's train. We got the two water tenders from Scale Trains coming up. And then the River Rossi 4018 big boy, which is a survivor. It's actually up in the Dallas area. I'm hoping to go see the 4018 when I go to the NMRA train show in August. So that way we can get a big boy on this channel. Because I've seen, when I was young, I got to go to Cheyenne. And I've seen the 4005, I've seen the 4004. Haven't seen the 4014 yet. It's my goal to see all the big boys, but still gotta figure it all out. And unfortunately, the channel itself is kind of a virgin for big boys. I don't have any big boy content yet. Hopefully that'll change. So yeah, in the future, I plan to have a switch here that goes straight into that closet. And that'll be our rail yard. It'll be a 3-modular 5-rail design. I'll definitely have some side skirts, so that way the train won't fall off the edges. But the layout's coming along. We've made a lot of progress this week. Yep. So for now, these cameras will work fine. I'm still going to do some research to see if I can get these cameras up to 1080p. The problem is it's being captured on a phone, which is being captured by software, which is being captured by OBS. So each time it's getting captured, it kind of gets degraded in quality. And so that's still my next nut to crack, is how can I go from a camera to the computer or straight to OBS, which right now I don't think you can do it unless you know open source coding with oh, what the heck do they call it? I think you actually need some sort of LAN capability, but you gotta like code it and everything, and I'm just not knowledgeable in all that. So like I said, I just do everything on the commercial market, and this is kind of the end result right now. And then definitely want to get these cameras upgraded. Get our 4K capture card, get our 4K security cameras. Because I think security cameras is definitely the way to go. Unfortunately, it's also the most expensive way to go. It's definitely not cheap, and you definitely got to know what you're doing as far as audio-visual capture. It's definitely a tough entry level to get into. I know the train's coming, but it makes for getting a lot of cameras fairly quickly. We haven't done Phoenix Point in a while, actually. Let's get Phoenix Point. Oops, and let's get to two camera view here. So this BLI does have a smoke box. My issue with it is that whenever you get a BLI with a smoke unit in it, it's activated by number 7. However, it is activated on by default, which drives me nuts. Like, I don't know why you would have the smoke on by default. That should be a button that you turn on. So that's definitely something I need to go in and code myself. But right now, I actually have number 7 activated to turn off the smoke unit, because the smoke actually gives me a headache, unfortunately. That's another place I really want to go. Omaha, Nebraska. To see those. Yep. I am definitely wanting a Greyhound scheme, both the... So, funny we should mention the Greyhound scheme. Once this train goes by, I'll show you what I have. I do want a Greyhound scheme Challenger, because I've got the California Zephyr, and I kind of want all of it in Greyhound scheme, so that way it kind of matches the flow of the color of the California Zephyr. And even with this train too, this train's kind of got the scheme for it. But we talk about Greyhound. Let me show you something. Oh, I think I've got it right here. I love my Northerns. So there's the Greyhound scheme Northern FEF. I gotta convert it to DCC, an old school AHM. But I love my old school AHM, IHC, River Aussies. Like, I love this type of style from Italy. So got a lot of old engines I gotta convert over, which I'm slowly doing it. I'm kind of waiting for Blunamis to get the Android app, because I don't want to buy an Apple phone just to run Blunamis. Yeah, I think I know. If it's from the one I'm thinking about that has the scented flavors from like O-Gauge stuff, Didn't you think I know what you're talking about? Yeah, and actually what I want to do too, I had a choice. Either get the gray water tankers from Scale Trains or buy the 3D printer. So obviously I went with 3D printer, but one of the things I want to grab next is the Scale Trains silver water tenders with the silver trucks, because I want to buy 2 of them so that way I can get like an excursion themed silver kind of train. And I've got the Western Pacific GS4 in pre-order, so it's going to be one of my most anticipated contests of the year. I can't wait to get that together. You tend to me so well with this statement. We'll talk. I don't know if I can line it up soon, though. Because, unfortunately, like I said, the pre-orders for the GS4s are coming up. And I've got my money wrapped up in that. We'll see. It's interesting. Oh, they're a British company? I think the one I'm thinking of is American. Eric's Trains, he's a big O-scale YouTuber. He has these scented flavor smoke that he uses. And I was thinking about trying that, but the problem is, when it comes to BLIs in a smoke box unit, you really have to be cognizant of when you use them, because I've seen horror stories of the main boilers actually melt from overheating smoke box units. Now, I don't know if that's actually a glitch in their system, but I've seen the pictures. It's disgusting. And that's why I tend to just not use it whatsoever. Oh, now you're really going to tempt me. Because I need more of the overland route. It's the gray scheme, right? The black and gray overland? Yeah. Oh, but they're heavyweights with the 6 axles. Yeah, I still that's tempting. Let me think about it. We'll talk on price. We'll talk in person. Like I said, unfortunately, I've got those GS4s coming out. Nice. Yeah, 6. It's the 6 axle, but are they is it Bachmann heavy? Yeah, Bachmann heavyweights too. Just do it. The thing is, 6 axles is a nightmare for me, but it is UP. We'll see. We'll see. It's the collective part in me that says potentially. They're my favorite. The HMs, yeah. Those are pretty good. Those wheels are typically more aligned than the Bachmann ones. The Bachmann Spectrum heavyweight 6 axles are a nightmare to deal with. At least from my experience. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk. Because I also don't have an FEF with the 8444 number boards. I have them all in the 844. Because I got the 844 Athearn Genesis DC, though. I gotta do a complete overhaul to get it to DCC. I got the 844 in Greyhound, as you guys just saw. But I don't have the 8444 before I went back to the 844. Gotta love Union Pacific's numbering letters. Jeez Louise. Drives me nuts. Which reminds me, I gotta grab the 844... GP30s from Scale Trains as well, along with the B units. Ugh. That's something else I gotta think about. Love those GP30s. Let me go back to the get you guys back on board here. Yeah. I think so. I'm not 100% sure on the tooling that they used. I'm more familiar with the companies. Like HM was just basically River Rossi. They had the same parts, same factory stuff, and so forth. Yikes. So yeah, I don't recommend using smoke with HO scale. So I never use smoke with this BLI. But everything else about BLI, I like it. And I'm quite surprised that their Keep Alive system is really freaking good. Like, I ran this on a Samurai layout, had no issues. And we have a lot of isolated frogs that was slowly converting into powered frogs or electro frogs. But being such a short wheelbase, quite impressed. Quite impressed. Is it that time? Is it that time? That I should be coming to bed. I'm still streaming.
Still?
Yeah, I'm at pretty much the 3-hour mark.
Still popular and busy?
Yeah. Yeah.
This little one has put holes in me that need some medical attention.
Yeah, just watch the cameras. Just watch the cameras. Alright, sorry about that. The problem that I have with 6 axles, I have modulars, so I try to get these perfectly lined up as best I can, but there is still some track errors on my part, just being human. Trying to level all of the modulars together. And so what happens is, if the 3 axles aren't perfectly aligned with one another, that middle axle becomes a pivot point, which causes the truck to pivot off when it finds that divot in the rail joiners and in between the 2 modulars. My scale trains tenders, for example, are notorious for derailing because, and other people have had this problem too in the first run of the water tenders. Unfortunately, I do have the first run water tenders. The middle wheel is just slightly ever so higher than the other 2 outer wheels, so it causes that momentum in the truck when you have a dip in any of the rail joints. And the Samurai layout also has some switch issues from time to time. We have one member in Samurai that runs a lot of the heavyweight 6-axle, and they are notorious for derailing. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've seen those 6 axles derail. And just, like I said, for me personally. So, me personally, I tend to go blind wheels in the middle. Yeah, and that's something that I've had to do from time to time. And again, you make a great point to just get rid of that middle wheel or making it into a blind wheel. That's something I need to do more often, actually. I can't necessarily do the blind wheels with these scale trains because they have prototypical wheel assemblies, which drives me freaking nuts. Because I love scale trains, don't get me wrong. I like what they're doing. I have a love-hate relationship with them because sometimes they make it too prototypical to the point of that functionality gets sacrificed, and that's what drives me nuts, especially when it comes to their museum quality and their river counter quality. Like this big blow turbine, I had to cut so many pieces off from the trucks because I was having so many problems trying to negotiate a turn without getting caught up on one of the freaking details. And I was talking to another member who has a big blow turbine from Scale Trains, and he's actually had to put additional weight on the 6 axles because he was having the exact same derailing problems I was having with mine on the layout. And so he had to add additional weight to it. So that's kind of my issue with it. 100% agree. Yep. I say leave the smoke for O gauge. That's where it belongs, in my opinion. Yep, I will. Yep. We're gonna start winding things down. Because I gotta, like I said, I want to tear down, by the end of tonight, I want to tear down the testing range monitor. So we're going to go ahead and give the yellow signal to this train, meaning one more lap. And then I think we'll kind of wrap things up a little bit, start winding this train down. So probably got 5 more minutes here to make it officially 3 hours. Definitely, again, I appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you for all the great comments, tips, stories that you guys have. I love this stuff. Again, everyone's got a story when it comes to this hobby. And I really just want this to be escapism, and we can all enjoy this wonderful sandbox hobby together. Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean. Good old Bowser's, yep. Yeah, I'm definitely need to try a blind. What I should do is do an experiment where I take a blind wheel, I flatten it down, like grind it down to flat. That's what I should do. That's what I should do. Oh, coming in at the tail end is Train Man number 1. How you doing, Train Man? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. We are unfortunately getting ready to wind things down. We're on our last lap here. But currently, you are on board train number 3002, the Southern Crescent, Southern Pacific fantasy style. Get you some good shots here. And this engine is from Broadway Limited. It has a Paragon 4 decoder on it, which I am definitely a fan of. Definitely day and night difference between the Paragon 3s and the Paragon 4s. I'm probably not gonna have a video come out tomorrow. I'll still have my shorts come out tomorrow. But I think the next video I'll put out is either Sunday. I definitely have a video gaming release on Monday, because I'm kind of taking a small break from the main video line. But we'll try to get back on track with those videos. Again, my main mission right now is to get this modular up and going. We're so close. We're so close to getting the Wave modular operational. So that's gonna be my homework tomorrow. And then obviously get my 3D printer up and going. Those are gonna be my two big things. All right. As we're pulling up to our final stop here. All right, so with that, we will go ahead and sound the horn. You know, I could. I'd rather just show the After Effects, to be honest, though. I've got so much other content that I gotta focus on to get out from the Samurai layout. I've actually thought about doing time lapses. I'm just not there, to be honest. So I'd rather just show before and after and just call it good. Cause I got at least 2 more 360 videos I gotta put out. I got plenty of camera train 4K video to push out. So there's just so much other content that's in kind of the pipeline right now. And with I would have to do a whole bunch of setup to get the time lapse. So, but it's always the before and after, and I can talk more to it. So, all right. So with that, for next week, we're gonna go ahead. Like I said, my big goal is to get this modular up and going. So this is the Wave modular. So we're gonna say goodbye to the testing range, and we're gonna put this guy in his place. And so, matter of fact, the title of the next stream is gonna be the Wave modular operations. So that way we can get some sort of mini ops going, because we have a lot more things that we can do. And so that's gonna be my main focus. So hopefully we'll have this bad boy ready to go for tomorrow, or for next stream. So, all right, with that, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. We've been streaming for almost a little over 3 hours and 10 minutes. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for all the support. Again, 1,060 subscribers on the channel. That is amazing. The fact that we're here, the family is strong, very, very strong. So, thank you for all the support, all the comments, all the views. Again, all that matters. Again, you guys decide when we get the emails, get partnership, and all that. But again, first and foremost, let's have fun with the world's greatest sandbox hobby. And with that, have a good night.
She